Hi everybody. Um Today is Wednesday. It's early in the morning. I'm not really exactly sure what time it is. No, it's after midnight, June 3rd, 2020. Um June 2nd was a very busy day. The past few days and the past weekend, very emotional, very active, and I'm referring to all the protests that happened nationwide. Actually, they happened on a global scale. They happened all over the world. Um, and some of them got to the point that they were very violent. Uh, Video footage is showing, and I'm not talking about the news, the footage that they're showing on the news. Can't be trusted. This is video footage from protesters that were actually participating. And I'm not talking about people that were looting. I'm not talking about people that were setting fires and causing damage to these businesses and everything. I'm talking about people that were actually peacefully protesting. That means they weren't raising their hands to anyone. They were walking a designated route. They were chanting um, George Floyd's name, Black Lives Matter, um, and other things that they um, all coordinated to chant. I can't think of the chants right now because I got so much in my mind. But no justice, no peace, that type of thing. But I've been noticing on social media, some people still are not quite getting it. And I'm not seeing so much the people that are not understanding why Colin Kaepernick and many people of color chose not to stand or sing the national anthem, why we chose to take a knee, that type of thing, why we are protesting in the first place. Because the racial injustices that are done to people of color by law enforcement on a nationwide basis. This isn't an isolated incident. To us, it happens quite regularly. It's been happening. And the only reason why people of color are at the point that we're at now is because now, with the internet and social media, it's all being televised. Whereas before, it was just like word of mouth and it was kind of hard to believe and hard to prove. But now, we can do that. And we're still not getting the justice that we feel we deserve. So, I see some of my um, Caucasian friends and family and acquaintances, they're coming around. They're starting to understand more as to where we were coming from. But then I've seen something else. And I've seen people questioning the family of George Floyd. I'm not going to say who, but there's more than one account that I'm connected to on social media. They're questioning their motive for opening a GoFundMe page. And it struck a nerve in me. It struck me as to why would you try to get people riled up over something like that? I mean, it wasn't just one question. It was like question after question after question. It's like, what business is it of yours? These people just lost their loved one. This man is never, ever coming back. He is dead. He was murdered. He wasn't killed. He was murdered. And it was videotaped. And the nation saw it. The globe, the whole planet Earth saw his murder on video. Some chose not to believe it. Most of us have. But these people lost their loved one in a very violent and brutal way. And we don't know anything about these people. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know what they're thinking. We don't know how they're feeling because we are not them. Now, I'm not saying people that have had loved ones murdered, they don't know what it feels like. They know what it feels like to lose a loved one to violence. But everybody doesn't react the same. Everybody doesn't feel the same. Nobody knows what the other person's feeling. Everybody's different. It's unique. It's a unique experience. Sad and tragic as it is, it's still a unique experience for everyone involved. So to question someone's motives as to why they opened a GoFundMe page because their loved one was murdered and they're asking for donations because, for one, they want to give their loved one a decent burial. And seeing the circumstances as to how their loved one died, under suspicion that he was murdered by police officers, that's not going to be an easy task to get these men charged in a courtroom and tried and convicted. It's difficult to get law enforcement officers convicted of murder because of the laws that are on the books now, how they just most of the time let them skate from things like this. So, yes, they ask for help. How many people do you know that have millions and millions of dollars sitting in a bank somewhere untouched because they're waiting for something like this to happen? It's not cheap to go through something like this. You saw on the news where they had to have, I think, at least one other autopsy done besides the local coroner because the local coroner is on the side of the police department. They don't want their own convicted of something like this. So, of course, he's going to say, oh, well, I don't see any proof that he was strangled or that he died because of suffocation or whatever the idiot said. Basically, he was trying to say things that made us think, oh, well, maybe it was something else that made him die. No, motherfucker, we can all see on the video that the man's neck was pressed. I don't know if anyone listening to this, I know you've played with balloons as a child. You have air in a balloon. You untie it, the air comes out. Well, to get all the air out, you have to kind of like go from one end of the balloon, press the air down out, and then make sure all the air is out to flatten it so that you can try to put more air in it or so that you can save it for another time. That's how you get air out of a balloon. Well, basically, that's what those police officers did to George Floyd. They laid him handcuffed with his hands behind his back so that he could not defend himself. Handcuffed him. First they put him in the van, in the SUV. And other video footage from a different angle showed where they were reaching in the vehicle doing something, and you could see the cop who was reaching in there. You could see his feet at the bottom of the door moving back and forth like he was doing something. I suspect that they were beating him in the back of that SUV. And so instead of him being able to report anything and for them to be able to get away with beating on him, I think they came to the conclusion, okay, we got to do something about this because he's going to tell on us. He just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so they put him on the ground, handcuffed, laid him on his stomach. And the three of them held him down. 2 officers on his lower part of the body, one on his legs, one on his mid part, and the other one had his knee on that man's neck. And then the 4th one was standing guard, trying to keep people away so that they couldn't be stopped. So the one holding his legs, that was keeping him from being able to flail around and get away and make them stop, to get them off of him. The one that sat in the middle of his body sat on the part to where his stomach and chest would empty any air out of him so that he could not go and take a breath. And the other one had his knee on his neck. On the left part of his neck, I think that's what the coroner, no, on the right part of his neck. Because Dr. Bodden, the medical examiner, he said that Mr. Floyd had scrapes and stuff all on the left side of his face from scraping up against the pavement. Because that cop, Chauvin, had his knee on this part of his neck, pressing down. And yes, on the video, you can hear him say, I can't breathe, and some other things he was saying. And you can see that cop adjusting himself so that he can further press down on that man's neck so that he could not speak anymore. So yes, he was murdered. And I didn't mean to go into all the description of everything, but yeah, that's what happened. That man was robbed of his life. For what? Because he was suspected as trying to pass a fake $20 bill. They have not once mentioned that. The police department or anything. They have not said that they proved that he was trying to pass fake bills. There's no proof that he even knew. Why else would he sit around waiting in his vehicle if he was guilty? He probably wanted to settle it too, because from what his friends say, from what his family says, he was trying to clean up his life. Yeah, he has a bit of a record, but he was there trying to clean up his life and live his life the best way he knew how, by the book, by the law. He wasn't breaking any laws. He's doing the best he could. Engaged, had a fiance, had a daughter. So why would he be sitting around waiting on the cops if he was guilty? If he was guilty, he would have ran down the street. He would have ran out that store, got in his vehicle and left. He wouldn't have waited around for the cops. But they pulled him out of his vehicle and they murdered him in the street. But anyway, I've seen some people on social media questioning why his family started a GoFundMe page. They didn't have the money for all of this. They consulted their lawyer. Their lawyer probably told them this is not gonna be cheap. We're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do that, blah 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 blah. This is a strategy. It's not easy suing law enforcement officers for doing anything, especially murder. You saw what happened when they had the coroner come forth and tell that big ass lie that it was probably some underlying condition and potentially he had something in his blood as far as like drugs or something. Who does that without running blood tests? They didn't even run any blood tests or anything like that. He just put that shit in there to make him look bad, to make Mr. Floyd look bad. So yes, of course the family had to hire someone else to do an autopsy, a private autopsy, so they can get the facts out there. And so what if maybe he had something going on? Putting your knee on somebody's neck and depriving them of air for several minutes, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why he's not alive. Has nothing to do with having diabetes or something like that. Really? So yeah, they started GoFundMe. If it was my loved one and my family's going through this, oh yeah, we're gonna start a GoFundMe because we don't have like a couple of million in the bank waiting to pay all these people to have them help us put the police in jail. So yeah, they started a GoFundMe. It was a good idea. I mean, they have millions of dollars in there now because the whole globe, the whole world has seen their plight, has seen their tragedy, and is wanting to help. Now, whether they're going to keep all that money, I don't know, because they could use most of it for their fight and getting these guys put in jail, having them put in prison, not jail, prison, and then some of it they can have put aside for their his daughter for her education, for when she graduates high school. It could be for her college education. It's their business what they do with it. That's between them and their God. What they do with it. Whose business is it anyway? I don't get people. How they can be so high and mighty. I just don't get it. It's like people, they lose their humanity, They lose their compassion when it comes to something like this. It's like, okay, you know what? Maybe that's something that you wouldn't do. Maybe you're rich or you come from a family that's well-to-do, but they don't. They're doing what they feel is best for them. They're dealing with it the way they know how, the only way they know how, the best that they know how. The murder of a loved one or the death of a loved one, that's personal. That has nothing to do with anybody else but the people involved, the family involved. So how dare you? How dare you try to pass judgment on somebody that's trying to seek justice for their loved one that was wrongfully killed. Someone that was murdered in broad daylight in front of witnesses on video. Come on, people. Oh my God. I mean, how hard is it for you to just use your little pea brain, imagine what it would be like to be in that position, to have your loved one killed? I don't even know if I could hold it together like they've been holding it together. I'm so sensitive when it comes to my kids and my family. I don't know. I don't know if I can hold it together. I know I'd be wanting to hurt somebody. I'd be wanting to kill somebody. Do some serious damage. I don't know how I would react. I would want to do the right thing and not hurt anybody and seek justice for my loved one, but that's one of the most painful things that can happen to someone. And then for other people to sit back and judge them, well, I wonder what they're going to do with the money. Fuck you. It's not your goddamn business what they do with the money. Mind your goddamn business. I get so sick of people being so heartless. Just because it's something that you wouldn't do doesn't mean that they can't do it or shouldn't do it. They're not you. You're not them. Everybody goes through their own tragedies, and everybody suffers through them and deals with them differently. So mind your fucking business. Stop being so heartless. And I didn't mean to cuss, but God, people can just be so stupid sometimes. Stupid and mean. I was trying to get on here and say that a little bit and not use that much time because I did pull a couple of cards for some energy. In reference to the vibe. Because the people marching for this man and for people of color that have gone through this, they're hurting. They don't know what to do. I mean, they pretty much have a plan, but they're it's not moving fast enough. Because we've been going through this and going through this and going through this, and we get so many people a year that are needlessly lost, needlessly killed, murdered, and the majority of them, we're not going to be able to prove that they were killed or murdered because of the color of their skin, because the laws that are set up now, they're set up to protect the police. So, except for that one black cop that killed that white woman, he's in jail. That should tell you something right there. So what we need to do is, instead of, I know they're feeling angry, they're feeling like lost, like there's nothing that we can do, our voices are not going to be heard, all hope is lost. So the ones that go out there and loot and pillage and damage, please stop. Please stop. Because the ones that are peacefully marching, the ones that are getting our voices heard, the ones that are talking with the politicians, the ones that have the leaders and the celebrities trying to join in and speak up for us, the message is getting lost because of all the damage and the havoc that's being created by those that are looting. So you're going to have to stop, okay? I know you're angry. I don't blame you for feeling what you feel. And I'm not going to tell you to stop feeling what you feel, but the looting and stuff like that, it's not helping us. It really isn't. If anything, it's feeding into the stereotype that black people are criminals. All we know is violence and crime and stealing, taking from others, hurting people. We're falling into their stereotype when we do that. So if you feel like you just have to loot and do all that other stuff, just don't show up to the marches. You need to take that energy and put it towards something else. For one thing, I know one thing you can put it towards: going down to the voters, to election site, your county election board of elections, and get registered to vote, so that you can start and do some studying as to who's running for office, who's running for your local office, who's running for your board of commissioners, who's running for your city council, who's running for your governor, lieutenant governor, who's running for your state senate, who's running for your state house of representatives. That type of thing. That's what we should be doing. That's what we all should be doing. And we should go out and vote. Research these people. See who has your interest at heart, who shares the same values and interests that you do, as far as how they feel about paying taxes and women's rights and civil rights and domestic violence and all the issues. Everything. Study. We have until November 3rd. We have a few months. So you need to get a notebook. You need to get on the internet. If you can't get on the internet, go to the library. Public libraries have computers that you can use for free. All you have to do is sign up for a library card. Now, where I'm from, library card is free. I think the majority of counties in the country offer free library cards. If not, it's just probably like a couple of dollars or so. It's not much. But get a library card. Go to the library. Use the computers for free. Do your research. Or some of you that are already into politics and stuff, that if you have better ideas and you think you can run and win, run an election. Run for something. Run for mayor. Run for city council. Run for county commissioner. Run for something. If you've always wanted to be in politics and you think you can make a change, go for it. Because I know a lot of these political parties, especially Republican, they need people of color. If you're Republican, you're a person of color, you like politics, go for it. You can do a better job. So no, right now the Republican Party is not the Republican Party anymore. They're Trump's party. All those issues and beliefs and everything that they platforms, it's no more. Republican Party doesn't exist anymore. It's all Trump now. They all run around and kiss his ass because they want to be reelected. They're afraid. Like politics is all they know. They're not doing any good because when they're up there, all they do is say no to everything that helps the people. All they care about is helping their donors and kissing Trump's ass. Now, how is that moving the country forward? It's not. It's not helping the country at all. Democrats, they're no better. They've had people, both them, both the GOP and the Democrats, they've had people in Congress for years and years and years and years and years. And we're still in the same spot. We're still not. So many countries have gotten far ahead of us. It's ridiculous. And they keep saying, I like living in the United States because I have freedoms. I can pretty much do what I want, without fear of walking down the street and being arrested by the cops. But you know what? People like Trump in office, those days are probably numbered because his goal is to be a dictator. Just like Kim Jong-un, just like Putin, just like that, Duarte? The one in Brazil, him too. It's like all these countries have assholes for presidents and leaders, and he's just like them. Except his country is not a dictatorship, but that's what he's wanting. He's wanting full control of everything. And if he gets another 4 years, he just might get it. He just might get that control. So, y'all need to get out there to the Board of Elections and you need to register ASAP. I know a few states yesterday, June 2nd, I know a few states had their primary. Whether or not you can vote in the general election without voting in the primary, I don't know. I think every state's different. I don't know. But you should find out. As far as like the COVID-19, notice how the news is not even hardly talking about that anymore because of all this crazy shit going on. I think this is all orchestrated, actually. I really do. But that's a different video. But if you're not registered to vote, you need to go to the Board of Elections before the end of this week. And you need to go down there, give them an ID, a photo ID. They'll have you fill out a form and you sign up. You register yourself to vote. Come November, you need to vote. I'm not sure if they're having early voting for the general election. They might. If they do, I would participate in the early voting if I were you. if you're a state officer. And just be ready, because GOP has already said they're going to have people stationed outside of all the election sites, basically trying to intimidate people. They said that they're going to be monitoring to make sure people are there to do the right thing. In other words, they're there to intimidate. So if you don't feel that you can go down there by yourself, go with some friends. Y'all walk in there as a group. Make sure you have your little COVID mask, your little face mask. Okay, so you don't get sick. Because, yeah, COVID-19 is still out there. That's why we're still at home, still on lockdown, still keeping social distance in public, still wearing the face mask, still washing your hands and whatnot. But, now that I've settled down a bit, I did pull a couple of cards. One was for the vibe for the, I'm trying to think of the question I asked. For those that are marching in the name of George Floyd and other people of color that have suffered at the hands of law enforcement. This is for us that are marching, that are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to find justice, trying to find justice reform, trying to keep our head up. And I chose the Trust Your Vibe Oracle cards. This is a new deck I just got. And the one that I picked was to expect the best. And it reads, you're being advised by your higher self and guides to start each day expecting divine guidance to direct, support, and happily surprise you. By entering a state of expectation, you create a vacuum in your vibration. The universe doesn't tolerate a vacuum, so it will seek to fill it with exactly what you expect. If you expect struggle, then you'll attract struggle. If you expect guidance, synchronicity, and celestial gifts, you attract that as well. Your guides are advising you to shift your awareness to positive expectation, which acts like a magnet that attracts all you need when you need it. It creates a powerful vibration that will be felt and answered by your guides immediately. Take the risk and expect good vibes. They will show up. Expect the best. And that is the vibe message. The vibe for what's going on with these protests. I also pulled from Angel Tarot cards. And I pulled the Knight of Earth, which is Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Earth, he's loyal, dedicated, honorable, he's kind. Basically, it's saying it's time to buckle down and get things done, to honor your commitments. Guardian Angel. And I'll read you what the book says. It says time to get things done. Leave the planning stage behind and take action. Honor your promises and commitments. Attend to details and be thorough. Someone you can expect to be loyal, dedicated, and dependable. This is in reference to the Knight of Earth being a person. It's someone you can expect to be loyal, dedicated, and dependable. A well-trained person who does an excellent job over time. Detail-oriented, diligent, thoughtful, honorable, and kind. It also means renewed motivation, increased abundance. A guardian angel. So, we're George Floyd's guardian angels. Every person of color that has lost their life or that has been hurt at the hands of law enforcement, bad cops, we're their guardian angels. But we can't accomplish our goal. We can't help them. We can't get anything done. We can't honor them if we're looting, destroying, tearing up shit. We're defeating the whole purpose if we do that. We're losing all credibility with our allies that are trying to help us get this shit done. So, you have to expect the best. You expect the best. You throw that out there to the universe. You expect the best. The best will come to you. But if you're doing shit like looting and pillaging and tearing stuff up and burning things down, that's going to come back to you. I always say this, karma is a boomerang. What you throw out to the universe, it's going to throw it right back. Except in greater amounts. So I don't know how many fold, but it's going to give it back to you. Even more so. So y'all keep loving each other. It says love is going to conquer this shit. Love conquers all. It does. Y'all just have to believe that. You just have to believe it. So expect the best. Expect the best. Throw good vibes out there and they'll return. And you need to buckle down. Get things done. Honor your promises and your commitments. Be loyal, honorable, and kind, and dedicated. And you put that out there. You put that out there, that energy out there, that's what you're going to get back. Okay? I'm sorry for the cursing and everything before. It's just, this has been such an emotional few days, and I've had it bottled up until now. And I pray that those people open their eyes and see the truth for what it is. Y'all just keep living your truth. Keep fighting for the truth. It will set you free. You do that with love. Truth and love will slay the dragon. It will. We got to do it together. Can't do it by yourself. We all have to slay the dragon together. Okay? Y'all have a good one. See you next time. Peace, love, and light.